Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Mr. and Mrs. E.
Launch sequence activated. Prepare for light speed.
Keeping the missing relevant with Mr. E, Mrs. E. Let's not forget the sweet and E, and of course the best Grand E, unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Auntie, is that you? Yes. Bring in the crime dogs. It's time.
Unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Don't have the mic.
Might need that.
Yeah. Welcome in, everybody. I am Mr. E. Welcome to the Mr. E Crime Cast. I am joined today by Mrs. E and our guest, Auntie. How did the trip go with your daughter?
Oh, it was great. Everybody was here, and it always goes by so quick, when they're visiting and they have to go back to their lives. It's sad, but we had a great time.
I know.
I have to read this real quick. Angel Wing says, I set an alarm on my phone and my daughter heard it and said, it came out and said, Mom, your alarm's going off and it says the E's. Thank you so much, Angel Wings.
What does that mean? The E's? What is this? Yeah. Awesome.
That is so
Great.
sweet.
Yeah, I saw a few of you in the chat as we were coming in have followed this case since the beginning. Some of you, Angel Wings and Dreaming of Blue Skies, and several others were talking about how this is one that they've been following pretty closely. And this case is, let's see who made the comment. I think it was Angela back here. Who was it?
It might have been an Angel.
Let's see who said this. Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said it. This case is crazy, and it is. This Brian Schaefer disappearance is what we're going to be covering today.
I was going to say, put a 1 in chat if you're familiar with the Brian Schaefer case.
Yeah, because I was not.
There's also an update with the Brian Terrence case, the one we talked about briefly about Turks and Caicos.
Would you tell us about it?
The CEO that went missing. I did send it to Crimies. They have found a body, but it has not been identified yet. About 20 minutes from where he was last seen.
Well, bless him and his family.
Yeah, we covered that on the Friday stream we did, and so it looks like they may have answers. It's been 10 days since he was gone, and he was if this is him, he was an executive, a CEO of a company in Manhattan, 51 years old, and went for a walk at 3 a.m. or so, and they found his body about 20 minutes outside of town.
But they have not made a positive identification yet.
Oh, that's right. They're not. Yes, they're not positive that it's him. But this is
it is a male. And they said it was about 20-minute walk from where he was staying.
Right, and this is the quote from one of the investigators. He was found a 20-minute walk from where he was last seen. I would say about a block off Leeward Highway in a little residential commercial area. The body, he said, was found in the bush in a ditch, and cause of death and all of that is unknown still.
Wow.
And
they said they are switching it to a homicide investigation.
Oh, they have. Okay.
Yeah, I did see this case. Once a missing person is now being treated as a homicide, though official identification is still pending. Detection is expected in the coming days. Well,
I guess the big question will be: was he trying to meet somebody, or was he just going for a stroll? Was he just going for a late night walk, or going to the store for some reason, or what happened?
At 3 a.m. is such a weird time to be out walking around unless you were meeting someone or something.
You would think so. Yeah.
Cece said there's been travel advisories in the area. Turks and Caicos, especially where they were, is a very safe area. I do a lot of travel stuff and look into like all those warnings and stuff, and that area is usually very safe, so it's kind of surprising. That's right, Real Me Too. Nothing good happens at 3 a.m.
That's right. Man, if you're gonna have something happen, you certainly do not want to have it happen in a foreign country, right?
Right. It's the worst. You see all those ones like Natalie Holloway and ones that they've disappeared. That one girl, I think it was last year in Punta Cana, that was, the resort was out of electricity and everybody was out of their rooms later in the evening, and she ended up drowning. But she was just out walking around, and the investigation, communication's got to be so hard when it's somewhere like that.
I've got to fix something here. I'm using a different. I've never used this presentation before.
Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches says my mom used to say nothing good happens after midnight. That I told my kids that from the time that they were young. You
need some help?
need to be out
How can
after midnight.
How do I hit play on this? Where do I hit play on this to make it? Because I don't need all the background.
Okay, hold on.
Right. Cece said, I love Turks. Turks been a while since I've been there. Never felt unsafe there. And even in the middle of the night. Yeah. I have friends, parents that used to have a house there. And then also,
Well, that'll do it.
loved to vacation there. Never had any trouble, in that area. And, they're elderly and have never felt scared or intimidated by that area.
Sorry, Auntie. I'm just getting set up
That's
here.
okay. That's all right.
All right.
If you're just coming in, please hit the like button and share us. If you have friends that like true crime information, please do that as well. I'll say welcome to Ashley and Cece, Real Me Too, our mods.
I see. I don't see anybody that's not familiar with this case as far as the 1s and 2s. So
good.
But I still think you should do a summary for us.
Oh yeah, because I'm sure. I mean, we, like I said, we always try to do these in such a way where people going back and watching it.
And this,
this isn't working for some reason.
Of course, it isn't.
What's going on?
Sharing the screen.
I think so. I was having trouble getting on our test page getting my picture up. I had to go to speaker view and I didn't know how to take down the presentation page. But
I'm going to go help him again, guys. I'll be back.
I don't know why. So when I expand this and then I go back,
it doesn't give you that option.
And then you look
there, you go.
It's the small one. Okay, but that's okay. Watch this.
There.
See?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it looks good.
You can control it.
Well, I can't see what we're seeing though, right? Or do I need
Real
to?
Me Too? That is a shocker. Real Me Too says she does not know anything about this case, so we will do a little preview.
You can do it.
I've only read the kind of the highlights. It's not one that I've known a lot about or have watched any documentaries on, but I heard there were some.
There's a lot. There's a lot out here on Brian Schaefer. It was one of those where it's rabbit hole after rabbit hole for 20 years. There's so many theories and information, and anybody that had any contact to Brian has been investigated by the online sleuths. I mean, there are. There's just a lot. There's a lot to go through. So I am going to go through kind of a sure.
I was going to say real quick. The reason that we are doing this is our lovely Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches. This is a case that's very near and dear to her heart. And she's been asking us for months to do it. So we thought, well, let's do that for her because she does so much for us. We wanted to go over this case for her. She kind of wanted to know our thoughts on it. And I will, Mima says, dang, handsome. I was going to say he's not a hard person to look at for, a few hours. So very handsome man.
Yeah. And this guy had everything going for him. So this is Brian Schaefer. At the time he went missing, he was 27 years old. As you can see, he was a student at Ohio State University. So this is back in 2006. His background, of course, he was a student at Ohio State. He went to medical school. He was in his second year of study, and he had been dating a girl named Alexis for a little over a year. They had met his first year of medical school. Very supportive parents. His mother in particular, they were very close. And she, from what I have gathered, she is kind of the one that really wanted him to, be all he could be, being a doctor and all of that. And he has a younger brother named Derek as well. So as things kind of go on into 2006, his mother gets ill with a very rare blood cancer and passes away. It's kind of mixed stories on how he handled this. Some people say he handled it very well, kind of going on. Some people said he did have trouble with depression. There's some evidence that he was on Prozac at one point. His kind of college life is sort of typical. of what most guys kind of go through in that early 20s. He, did some drinking. He smoked a little weed, that kind of thing. Got in a bar fight once. Not a background that's so crazy that it's, just would give you big red flags that there might be something down the road in the future. But, there were some things going on there. And he goes there. He gets close to spring break. He has his finals before spring break, and on March 31st, he's out having dinner with his father at an Outback Steakhouse, which is supposed to have been one of his mother's favorite restaurants. And according to his dad, Randy, that things were pretty normal there. He might have seemed a little tired, and a little later that evening, he starts making plans for that night because it's the Friday night before, of spring break. So he's meeting up with an old roommate, various friends. There's a lot of phone calls going on. He talks to his girlfriend at one point who's in Toledo, and they're talking about their plans for the following Monday, April 3rd. They are flying out on spring break together. And so they're excited about that. And he goes out with his old roommate, Clint. And they basically spend the evening bar hopping. They started a club called the Ugly Tuna Saloona, which is kind of like a actually, I think I have that picture up here somewhere.
Hi, Kelsey.
I thought horse lover. She said perfect candidate for a number of 3-letter agencies. I thought that was an interesting comment.
That's true.
He's a smart guy.
Horse lover says perfect candidate for a number of the 3-letter agencies.
Oh,
smart, good looking.
Yeah. I mean, you wonder about what a lot of those people that get into CIA, FBI, and other types of agencies like that. They have to get them and recruit them from somewhere. So,
I mean,
I just thought that was interesting.
That theory makes about as much sense as most of the other theories I've heard. I mean, this is one of those where it's really hard to, something we were talking about another missing person case, and someone in the comments section after our video said something like, you ever wonder about witness protection? Do you think people ever just go missing, but they're actually in witness protection?
That's a great question.
I was like, man, that's pretty good.
I'd say there's always a possibility.
So you ever wonder if maybe some of these adult missing cases, maybe it's somebody that had to go into witness protection or for whatever reason had to be hidden away, had to start a new life. I don't know. I don't guess that's impossible.
He had a bright future ahead of him for sure.
Well, this is the buddy Clint. He'll become important later on. This picture is, of course, kind of grainy there. This is the girlfriend Alexis. Looked like they were together for at least over a year. And of course, that's Brian there.
So good looking. I'm sorry, but he like.
Oh yeah, he's a Dr. McDreamy, right?
Yeah, he's a Dr. McDreamy.
Waiting to happen.
Exactly.
I mean, that's probably part of why his story has, been so popular. It's part of it, and his. Let's see, I've got a picture of him with his mom somewhere too. Yeah, so there's his mother, and
looks like he was maybe at his white coat ceremony.
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures from this online, from this particular event. Something I want to point out. You see his hand?
Yeah, I noticed it first thing.
This thing he's doing. He does that in a lot of pictures. I don't know. I'm sure the sleuths picked up on this at some point.
Right.
This case has been so analyzed.
Kelsey says he looks like a Disney prince. Yes, absolutely.
See,
she's a beautiful girl too.
Yes.
You see how he's doing his hand, right?
Yeah.
He does this in a lot of pictures. So he was also like a Pearl Jam fan, big Pearl Jam fan.
As most of us were.
And you see on the flyer they have for him, he goes missing later this evening, in the morning, of course, April 1st, 2006. Down on the right-hand side of that poster, that's the album cover for one of the Pearl Jam albums. Mm-hmm. And that's his tattoo.
Oh, okay.
So if people are looking for the distinguishing characteristic at some point, that's That's his tattoo on his right arm, they say. So let's get into the disappearance, and now we'll go a little bit more back into his background.
Kelsey says she's going to DM us and on X a case, another case, if that's cool. Of course it is, sure. Kelsey. You can contact us anytime you want. We appreciate you.
So where were we on the timeline? So he talks to his girlfriend. He goes out. He's at that Tuna Saluna place.
Okay.
And I was kind of reading some just about the bar because it closed a few years ago, and it was one of those like dollar shot kind of places. Like they'd had an 8 to 10 o'clock. They called it Ugly Hour.
Okay.
And you had a $10 minimum tab you'd have to open. And of course, the shots are $1. So it's the kind of place you're going in there and just getting tanked on this. Who knows what you're drinking? The bartenders are just pouring in whatever.
Oh yeah, they had those at my college campus too.
You're getting some hooch shots pretty much in a bar like that. I think
in our college they called it the red SHIT. That's what they called it.
Yeah, it's just whatever the bartender grabs. You know, with a little grenadine.
I've seen them pick up the mat before and pour it into a shot glass. I'm not even kidding.
The little catcher
that's
in the bar.
That's what I'm talking about.
They just push it down.
I've seen them pick it up and pour it into shot glasses and sell it before. I have seen that.
Very funny. So anyway, that's the bar they started at, and this is just near Ohio State campus. And they go bar hopping around midnight or so. They've been calling various friends throughout the night, seeing different people they knew at different bars. Meredith Reed is one they call. She's a friend of Clint's, and she's driving them around. And then they decide they want to go in their night at the Ugly Tuna Saluna. So they go back there around 1:15-ish.
Can I ask a quick question? Yeah. Did you say one of his friends owned it?
No.
Okay, I misunderstood. Okay.
No.
Real Me Too says the jurors are deliberating in the Crystal Rogers case right now.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Very interesting. Well,
I wish that one had been on TV.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get if anybody notices, we'll do give a live update if they come back while we're on here today.
Sure.
So anyway, they get back. I might have pictures of them going up the escalator. Let me see what I have.
You guys, he worked really hard on this.
Oh yeah. So here's inside the bar if you kind of want to know where they were hanging out. And it's a Friday night before spring break. I'm guessing they were pretty busy. So this is the kind of highlighted image there. That's Brian coming up the escalator, and this is around 1:15 or so. So they go inside the bar, and then around 1:55 or so, Brian is seen again on camera. Let me see if I have that picture too. I know I've got it somewhere. There's the tattoo. And then this is the age progression.
I bet he's better looking than that. Even with the age progression.
Let me find. Oh yeah. Yeah, this has it.
Kelsey says he has been found guilty.
Oh wow.
Brooks.
Wow. Oh. Did they just start their deliberation?
I have, like no idea. I've been working on our work today.
So
that's amazing. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Was that? Yes.
I really didn't follow that one very closely. I never even got through the podcast that I was listening to about called Bardstown.
Aunt E knows all about it.
Yeah,
like a lot.
Yeah.
When we had breakfast with Bullhorn Betty one time when she was here, and she and Betty were big time talking about it. And I was lost.
So Brooks Houck has been found guilty of murder in Crystal Rogers' disappearance, along with tampering with physical evidence. And Joseph Lawson, who is the son of Steve Lawson, was found guilty of conspiracy to murder Rogers and tampering with physical evidence as well. And this marks the conclusion of the second trial associated with the case. The first trial resulted in guilty verdict for Stephen Lawson, which is the one that got convicted today. That's his father. He was already convicted, a guilty verdict on the similar charges. So the 3 have all been implicated.
Wow.
And they are going to be doing the sentencing for Houck and Lawson soon.
Yeah, Kelsey put it up here for us. It says, after a 10-day trial, a jury found Brooks Hope guilty of murder, principal, or accomplice, and Joseph Lawson guilty of conspiracy to commit murder in the Crystal Rogers murder case. And I said murder so many times, I'm certain we just lost monetization.
Well, and just for people that don't know the case, people that don't know the case, her body has never been found.
Right.
And so this is kind of a landmark situation, a landmark case, to help build cases in the future without that evidence.
Right.
Yeah, and
we might want to study it, honestly.
I didn't follow this one. They never got a confession from anyone, right?
No. They have secondhand statements, things that in that nature, kind of secondhand statements that indicated it, but nothing, no confessions, nobody saying that they did it.
So yeah, that might be a good one to study to see how they put that together and what evidence they did.
Right. Well, the good news today, though, is justice has been served for Crystal Rogers, and that's what's important.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And maybe now that they've got these convictions, maybe they'll be willing to talk and make a deal
for their sentencing. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, she was a mother of 5 children, so it also gives some vindication for them.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Sweet Melissa. True Crime with Sweet Melissa says Brooks is guilty as sin always has been. So.
Yes. And the family and the people in the case really were very, very adamant. They knew that. They knew it.
Real Me Too mentioned the breakfast place. She said that's Betty's favorite breakfast place in Tennessee.
I really enjoyed it. I would love to go back there.
Yeah. We can't tell you where, though.
I don't think her father's case has happened yet. But her father was also unalived, and they believe it was associated because he was heavily looking for evidence and for her body, and he was unalived in the process of that. And they think they also possibly have something to do with that as well.
And Real Me Too says they should have at least showed the verdict live. I agree.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So there's one. See, like I said, I don't know this case very well. Not at all, really. So there's a father also facing charges potentially.
No. He was unalived.
Her father, Crystal Rogers' father, was looking for her and was very, very, very involved in looking for her afterwards. And during that process, he was unalived.
But are there any conspirators
in a hunting accident?
In a hunting accident. Yeah.
And Kelsey says accident.
Yeah.
Right.
But are there other conspirators we think that might be facing charges?
Yeah.
Well, then there's a good likelihood somebody's eventually going to talk now, because once you've seen 2-3 people successfully convicted, right? This is
right.
Oh, and everybody keeps saying, and the deputy was ambushed too.
Yes. So
I did make it that far into the podcast.
You did.
That's as far as
he's really. Have you told? He's really into these like one story podcasts that has several episodes. Yeah. That's like he's been doing. He did one about the murder in Music City. I said
it was excellent.
I said it again, didn't
I? On Music Row, though.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Music Row.
Yeah.
And you've actually met one of this, people involved with that case a few times. So talked to him on the phone and things. Yeah. Anyway,
back to. But there's a lot of true crime stuff going on today.
I know. This is I guess we'll cover some of that at the end of the week on Friday too.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. Maybe we can have some pictures or stuff too. Yeah, or anything. And no, Kelsey, you didn't derail. It's fine.
Have you ever been to one of our live streams?
We
all we do.
It's all derailed.
It's all squirrel.
I know. It's Tangent City.
Yes.
For us over here. So
we can't even clip it down and do shorts with it because it's just so all over the place. But as long as you guys are happy, we're happy.
So here's the surveillance camera showing Brian in the bottom right hand corner. So this is at 1:55 a.m. and this is the last time that he's he's known to be anywhere, alive or dead. He's talking to these two girls. I think he gives a phone number or something like that, and then disappears kind of toward the left, toward these escalators. And I'm going to show you kind of let's see. All right, is that showing as I scroll here?
I went over to the other screen to say
Okay.
hello to
I
War
see an-
Eagle, which
I
I'll
see
say
an-
live.
I see an escalator. Am I supposed to be seeing an escalator?
Let me go back and make sure this is
Hi, War Eagle. It's
Oh, no,
nice
it's
to see
not.
you. Happy you're here.
okay. There we go. So you can see the camera that we just looked at was up here, right? Coming down here to where Brian was standing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he disappeared walking in the direction of that Tuna Saluna place.
Okay.
And then nothing.
Then
2:00 rolls around. His friends go down the escalator because it's closing time. Everybody's leaving. They wait outside for a few minutes.
Did you hear her start saying closing time?
Yeah. Closing time.
Yeah.
The kids
And-
told us at camp that at the end of their dinners every night, they would play that song over and over and over until they got out of the mess hall.
Pretty good.
It always reminds me of The Office.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to look down that hallway so there's not better pictures, are there?
I just saw this at the last minute, this article. I was like, oh, this gives some good angles.
I just wonder, is there something? It looks like there's something there to the right of.
Well, to the right is the escalator that he.
No. Further
To the
back, like
left.
past the escalator, before you get to the saloon.
No, there's nothing here.
There's an open. What's that dark spot?
It's just a wall.
Oh, okay.
So to the left, though, that is kind of something.
Okay.
Is it a hallway?
Yeah, there's like a little. See if I think it shows it here. So this is outside. You can see what a busy kind of area this is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so his friends are waiting outside of this complex. I guess it's a movie theater and a little mall.
It's probably like an entertainment complex.
Well,
Yeah.
back then, they had lots of those things around. Unfortunately, those things are kind of becoming a thing of the past, which is sad.
Oh, I know where I've got a picture of this.
Someone said, wasn't one of the females a girlfriend of a band member playing there that evening?
Here it is.
I don't know. I don't know the detail. I just know the big parts of the story. Do you know, Mr. E?
He said something about one of the stories is he said something about talking to one of the band members before he left.
No, that's not what she said.
But I don't know about the girl. I haven't come across that.
Okay.
I mean, they were all identified and interviewed.
Dreaming of Blue Skies
and
might know.
These people have been picked apart. I mean, anybody that was caught on these security cameras, there's a conspiracy theory about like anybody that had any kind of connection. They have their orange sweater guy and stuff like this. They have all these different,
all the same things, kind of like
Green
all these
hoodie.
different-
like
yes,
Sebastian,
absolutely. So there's
Green hoodie and yellow
people-
coat.
pink sweater.
But so here's the direction he walked, and over here to the left, that door. So police said that there were really two ways you could leave from there, even though there's this exit to the left, like a service exit, I think is what it is. But to the right, they said that this was like all a construction area, that it was all hazardous. There was like a big hole. It would not be a place you would try to leave from. And so anyway, so I'm just going to take I'll just leave that up for a minute. So the friends, Meredith and Clint, are outside waiting, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. They go back up, check to see if he's at the bar. He's not in the bathroom. They call him. There's no answer. Around 2:10, 2:15-ish or so, they go to the parking garage thinking, well, Brian, he doesn't live that far away. I could pull that up too.
Cece's talking about how much she loves The Office. Yes, we love The Office too. And she says she says I always tell my son to find his Pam. How sweet is that?
That's cute. Yeah,
our son loves The Office too, and Parks and Rec.
Oh, here's the map.
Middle E, I mean Middle E. That's probably Middle E's favorite sitcom of all time.
Which one? Parks and Rec?
No. The Office.
The Office. Oh, I love it too. I'm gone I watched it beginning to end. I don't know
Oh,
how many times.
I've probably seen it beginning to end 10. Don't you think, honey?
A lot.
At least 10 times.
Yeah, I
At
can pretty much
least.
quote it.
So they're thinking maybe Brian just walked home or went out partying. I guess he was the kind of guy that sometimes he would just sort of disappear. So
Mhm.
here's Ugly Tuna Saluna. He could have walked down this way and been to his apartment in about 10 minutes, they say.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And here's a picture of his apartment at the time.
Wait, I don't. What
Is it
I'm
not
seeing
showing?
is like a Google search.
No, I see it. It's on the screen.
Gotta
See
make
where
that
the
up.
circle is?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, I think he meant to make that big.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was showing.
Crochet's never
Here we
seen
go.
The Office.
Sorry. So here's his
Oh my
apartment.
goodness, you got to watch The Office.
Start it from the beginning.
Well, we won't see it for how many seasons is it, Annie?
It's on Peacock, and it's 8 seasons, I think.
Mhm.
8 or 9.
Oh, Jessica Lynn says she lives 10 minutes from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Oh.
The real Scranton.
Yeah.
They filmed The Office in California, but it's supposed to be Scranton.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, so that's the apartment, and here's his.
Oh, there's the picture.
Here's his route. So Ugly Tuna Saloon on the top right, and could have been to that apartment in about 10 minutes. So, for you're out drinking for 5 hours, and your buddy leaves, and he lives 10 minutes away. Maybe you're not thinking too big a
Well,
deal,
I
and
mean,
and he's not answering his phone.
Go back to college
Yeah.
mindset a little bit. Don't be a parent for a minute. Be a college kid. You think you can? I mean, I know he was in graduate school, but you know what I mean. You don't think about your friends like that. That's kind of like that big argument with Riley Strain. Is his friends just kind of let him go home? Well, I mean, how many times were you out with friends and somebody's like, "Hey, I'm headed home," and you didn't go with them, right? That's just kind of what happens. Unfortunately, you just think that people are capable and invincible.
Of course you do. I mean, you're talking to everybody. All your friends are coming and going from a bar, and he's an adult.
Yeah.
He's
They're in a
27
college,
years old.
they're, college town that they know so many people. Yeah.
And if they've been, so anyway, so the next day, he's called a few times. Nobody can reach him. They're again not really thinking it's that big a deal on Saturday. By Sunday, people are starting to kind of wonder what's going on, and they end up filing a missing person. The police said, "Well, he's got this flight on Monday. Let's wait and see what happens then. If he doesn't show up for his flight to go on spring break with his girlfriend, then we'll know basically there's something really wrong. When he doesn't show up, then the whole thing blows up." And then the detective that worked this case, he's done interviews since because he's in retirement working as a PI. So he's talked pretty openly about the investigation, saying they had hundreds of people searching, dumpsters, sewers, all the footage, the way the cameras are, the cameras catch him coming in, but never coming out. And there's really not a lot of great possibilities for what could have happened. And so him being caught on that camera coming into such a busy place and not being caught anywhere on that camera or any of the cameras you saw what kind of district that is.
Right.
There's tons of cameras everywhere. This is 2006, so it's a little bit different with the cameras. Some of them were not working. Apparently there was a Wendy's across the street that would have had a nice view, but they didn't, that cameras weren't working that night. But so this became a massive search. And, days go by, weeks go by, and he's gone. And there is not a trace of him anywhere. And so it led people to kind of start looking back on everything kind of leading up to his disappearance. So there's a lot of theories about what's happened to him. Of course, there's the idea that he met foul play somewhere. I've seen theories even that when he went in to talk to the band, that someone took his life then and took him out in a musical instrument case.
Oh goodness.
Because people are trying to figure out how do you even get out of this building.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody takes that theory too seriously, but I'm telling you, that's where all this is has kind of gone. Could he have had an accident on the way home? That doesn't seem particularly likely either. Why would he have left out through the construction area? Why didn't he come out and tell his friends he was going? Why didn't he answer his phone? Just a couple of minutes after walking back to the bar saying he was going to talk to the band. And maybe he did try to walk home at some point later and met some foul play. One of the theories apparently the detectives considered early on was you ever heard of the smiley face serial killer?
I had not until you started telling me about that.
I hadn't until I read the facts on this case and the implications that it could possibly have.
So if I forgot about this one. I had heard of it before, but it's been a while.
Let's ask our friends in chat. Have you guys heard of this?
Dreaming
before?
knew it, yeah.
I guess we have a delay. But anyway.
So
I'd never heard
the
of this
smiley
before.
what the theory is, some criminologists wrote a book on this, and their theory was that these college age men that had been found deceased drunk in rivers and such were actually the victims of the smiley face serial killer or killers, because at some of these bodies they would find smiley face graffiti on the walls near where they entered the water. Okay. And they thought that was kind of like the marker.
Ew.
So it's
I didn't know that. Dreaming said people theorized that Riley could have been a victim of the smiley face.
Yeah. And part of the theory with the smiley face killer is that he may not even be one person, but a group potentially of coordinate, kind of almost like a copycat kind of thing, but so what I've read, for the most part, people dismiss even the whole theory of the smiley face killers, but some people don't. So I don't know, but that's at least a theory they said they entertained for a while.
Well, I wanted to say hello to All I Need Is Jesus Coffee and True Crime. And she says, I absolutely believe there's a smiley face unaliver. I think Riley Strain was a victim also.
I did not think about Riley Strain with this. I should have. It should have occurred to me.
I'll tell you, Riley Strain still bothers me. There's too many weird things with Riley Strain.
This says that the smiley
graffiti.
The smiley face,
not alone,
and not at night.
No.
The smiley face ones always said that they are looking at the years from 1990 to 2010, which Riley would not fit in that category at all, though.
Well, I'm thinking copycat.
So This is the police officer. He said retired Columbus police officer John Hurst is also the one who said that Brian got exited out of the building, meaning he left via the construction plywood doors downstairs across from the Wendy's. I didn't hear him. I mean, I've listened to one of these interviews he did on what was this podcast called? It's called Brian Schaefer, Dead or Alive. I was going to play it. Actually, I'm going to play it. Well, I'll get to that later. But that's where he did a lot of the interviews.
I did not know this. Sorry.
Go ahead.
All I Need Is Jesus Coffee and True Crime says there are over 50 unexplained drowning, only college kids, all studying medicine or law. What?
That's interesting.
Wow. If you've got any information on that, will you email it to me? I want to look into that. That's interesting.
So it looks like Kelsey and Angel Wings, they both looked at this case a lot. They both seem to think that he was escorted or taken out of the building through that construction area.
Okay.
I know they said cadaver dogs were over there. They never picked up anything. And, but I mean, I guess if you wanted to be discreet, but how do you get him out the door with all those people around and not be seen by anyone?
These are the ones that trouble me the most. This can go right there with Sebastian, and it can go right there with Lily and Jack. Where did they go? They just
it's a blind spot with the camera down that little corridor. But you would think that if he were escorted out, the camera would have caught one or two people, whoever following him in there. And they seem to believe they've identified everyone, but of course they may not be revealing even 20 years later.
And Ashley says the construction site's the only thing that makes sense to me. And Cece agrees with me. I always thought there was something more sketch going on with Riley's death also. I
definitely think there was
I do
something
too.
else going
And
on.
you know, back in the day, we were like, wow, this PI did this 200 and some odd page report about it. And now knowing who that PI is, I kind of don't trust that report like I did.
Of course not.
So,
yeah, I think there's more to Riley's also.
a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
just the boots.
Well, and the fact that he did not die of drowning, his lungs were dry.
Well, that can happen.
That can happen, but it's not very likely.
Mm-hmm.
It's not common.
And you've got
it's the boots.
And you've got you go into the water wearing blue jeans and boots.
If you've
somehow
ever,
your blue jeans and boots come off, but your boxers stay on, floating down the river for a week. How did blue jeans?
Boxers are the loosest thing on you.
If your blue jeans come off, your boxers are coming off too, right? Because blue jeans, if you get those wet, they suck up to you like.
Well, that's what we talked about this. If you get those wet, I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried to take
soaking wet blue
jeans. It's almost impossible.
So yeah. I agree. I don't. I think.
Well, and boots are not easy to come off either.
Yeah,
at all.
A boot or two, I could almost understand.
Oh well, Cece.
But the blue jeans and the boots, and not the underwear, no way.
Cece said, "My first introduction to true crime." Riley was my first introduction to true crime, and I retired a couple of months after Riley, then moved on to Sebastian. Well, we're happy you're here, Cece.
Yeah, in a way,
that kind of is where we started too, in a weird way.
Well, we kind of got interested more, probably Sebastian.
From the moment he went missing, we were concerned.
Yeah,
because it was all over the place.
Right, and then when the Riley thing happened a little over a week later, it was like, what's going on in Middle Tennessee? That was kind of the feeling. And then you also saw the reaction from Riley's parents.
What's I was going to say? You go down like the day after, maybe 2 days after they got here, there were billboards all over downtown. I mean, his face was everywhere.
Oh yeah. And
then you saw the reaction of Sebastian's family or parents, and we didn't see billboards and stuff. So that was part of what made us start kind of side-eyeing everybody.
Yeah. So she says maybe he took them off to swim better in a drunken state, took off his clothes to jump in the water. And then, I mean, it's possible. Right. I guess it's possible.
It's possible.
But I have to go back and think about
that river moves so fast, though. I can't imagine anybody looking at that going, hey, that's a good idea. Think about it.
It's hard to get down there.
It's hard to get down there. And it's a fast moving river.
Yeah. And his socks were on too. It's weird. It's just weird.
Those are the things you would think would come off first.
To me, it makes me feel like they saw value in the boots and the jeans and tossed them.
Yep.
That's what it makes me feel like.
Yep.
But that's not what the report came back saying. So,
well, like I said, initially I accepted it, but now that I know who wrote the report, I feel a little bit differently. But anyway, let's get back to this story.
Let's get back to this. So anyway, there are those possibilities. Then they started looking at everything leading up to him being gone, and there a lot of people side eye the friend Clint. That was with Meredith, his old roommate. They apparently had an argument on St. Patrick's Day before he went missing. They had been roommates just briefly and got into some kind of dispute and quit being roommates. Nobody really knows why. And part of the reason people look at Clint in such a way is that he was cooperative at first, but it was not long before he refused to do a polygraph and got a lawyer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, so for that reason, people have kind of looked at him like, why do you have a lawyer? Why are you refusing the polygraph? If you have nothing to hide, of course, your friend's missing.
Oh, if you guys hear stuff in the background, the kids are here and apparently they're playing a game where they're making Elmo noises. Okay. Yes. Sorry.
I don't know if we'll pick that up or not.
Dreaming says he refused a lie detector.
Yeah. Yeah. So he did refuse it. And I saw one report that said he eventually took a polygraph, but I can't confirm that. But at least for a while, he did not. But I've said this before about other cases for me. And of course, I don't know Clint or whatever. But if I ever get the slightest hint that I'm the target of an investigation, I'm getting a lawyer. I'm not taking polygraphs, and I'm not answering questions if I think you're looking at me in any way,
Mm-hmm.
even if I'm innocent. So it is possible Clint has that same mindset. If he's someone that kind of knew true
Well,
crime
if
and how
he got
things
it,
can
he
go.
might have gotten advised by someone, someone to do that very thing, because that's what an attorney would tell you to do.
Maybe he's got a family member that said, "Oh no,
Mhm.
you're the last one to see him. You need an attorney. They can twist your words," because things like that do happen.
Mm-hmm.
There are false convictions against people.
Right. Dreaming says rumors he moved out of state, changed his name. Not sure if that's been confirmed.
Right.
Who, Clint or
Yeah. Seems so many go missing without a trace lately. This is real me too. So it seems so many go missing without a trace lately. Usually it's foul play. True.
it says online that he did not take the polygraph based on what his lawyers told him because on principle it was on against his principles and based on the legal advice of his attorney.
Real Me Too says Tony took me to Nashville to see where Riley went missing. It's funny that you say that, because the next time you were here, Mr. E actually includes that on our true crime tour. So
I do.
I bet he would take you down there well.
We go down. We do downtown Nashville, and that's the second to last story we do is the Riley Strain disappearance. We go through that last part of his path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and talk about that case. Yeah. So there's the foul play kind of theories, possibly with Clint. People, of course, look at Meredith. Anybody that entered the bar, they're looking at. But then there's also the idea of, did he just leave and walk away from life? And,
this is the part that blew my mind when you started telling me about this.
On the surface, you look at this and you think, all right, here's a guy, he's about to be a doctor. Stories are he was planning to propose to the girlfriend on spring break.
Mm-hmm.
There was never a purchase of an engagement ring, so we're not sure if that was truly his plan, but some people...
Once you talk to Annie, I'm going to go shut some doors.
You already know this anyway.
Yes.
So he told some people apparently that he was planning on proposing around that time. So anyway, maybe that is or is not true. Just finishes his finals. He seems on top of the world, right? But he had lost his mother recently, and there's a story that things were not as great between him and his dad as far as the connection. That there was an inheritance, and that the father, Randy, he expected that the inheritance would go to him, but she actually left 25% to each of her boys and 50% to the father. And there's stories that there was some disagreement about that Randy believed he should receive the full inheritance, of course. And so anyway, there was that kind of conflict, and his mother paid for all of his bills. And the father reportedly was preparing to kind of cut him off, let him be on his own. Aside from all that, he may not have been really all that happy about becoming a doctor. He told friends that his dream life was to walk away from everything, live in the islands, start a band, and live the Jimmy Buffett kind of lifestyle. That he wanted a more calm, peaceful, low pressure kind of existence, At least these are the stories that his college friends would tell investigators. And when I look back, there's something about this to me, looking at these pictures, let's see, all these pictures, he's doing the rock and roll thing, right?
Right.
And it's like, I don't know. There's like a rebellion to that, like it's like, yeah, here I am. got my white coat, whatever ceremony this is from, whatever he just completed, graduated, got in, or whatever it is. Yeah, I'm a doctor, but in heart, but in my heart, I'm a rocker. I'm really the guy that wants to live down on the islands with his Pearl Jam tattoo, kind of like, I think it would not surprise me, just kind of the way people have talked about him and read about him, if he wasn't kind of the kind of living the life he thought he was supposed to live and not the one that he wanted. Someone here
Well,
saying this is not true at all because they talked to Brian's. How did you pull it up?
I'm sorry, I hit it too.
This is not true at all, but only because I've talked to Brian's brother. Brian and his dad were super close after his mom died. Yeah, but you never really know. I mean, that's the brother's perspective. How did it's that might be how Derek saw it, but what was the reality between Brian? What's going on in Brian's head? What's going on in the father? What goes on when the brother's not around?
Well, and
Maybe.
then money can bring out the worst in people. So if there was some issue about the money or what she left or anything like that, that could have been driving a wedge that maybe wasn't necessarily that visible to the outside world.
Yeah, I mean, and you just it's like with anybody, you never really know what's going on in somebody's head, what kind of thoughts they're carrying around. There's other kind of clues that maybe something was up, like he had received a $4,000 tuition check from his father that was due, I think it was March 26th or 27th, and he hadn't cashed it or paid his tuition yet. So it's like, okay, why didn't you pay your tuition for the next semester? But of course, his apartment looks clean. Nothing's gone. Nothing's missing. It doesn't look like, if he left, he did it in such a way that he wouldn't have let people know he was leaving. I've seen on some of these Reddit threads talking about this case, people saying things like, back in those days, for like $250, you could get a Social Security card and a fake ID and start over. And that that it wasn't really that difficult to do if you kind of knew the right people. So that, there's these kind of questions. Did he just feel with losing his mother, maybe a marriage coming up, the pressure of that, maybe he just wasn't living the life he wanted and walked away from it all. So that's at least one of the theories. Like I said, I don't know. There's so much to this. There's so many rabbit holes with this case. I couldn't tell you one way or the other. I'm just kind of presenting the arguments behind why some people think that that's how it happened.
And Nina, thank you for your super sticker. She said, could he have been in another relationship? I mean, I guess it's always possible. I don't think there was any talk of anybody but the girl that he was planning on asking to get married. But based on the case I read, I didn't see anything about another girlfriend. Did you?
I saw people say that he was kind of like a flirt, but nothing that said that he had a girlfriend. But that, like him just talking to girls at a bar, even though he had his girlfriend, would not have been that unusual. That he might, flirt and get a phone number, but not necessarily take it further than that. And then as far as like being bi and that kind of thing, I think the detective said he did not have evidence of that in the interview that I listened to yesterday. But you never know. I mean, you never know what's going on.
Thank you, Nina.
Yes,
Yes,
thank you, Nina Drew. And it's a super chat, not a super sticker.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a super sticker.
Nina does send us stickers, but she sent us a chat today. And thank you so much, Nina. That was very sweet of you.
And astrology for mystics with Jen, it has been a long time. Yes. She said it's been a long time since he went missing.
Yes. Our lovely Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches brought this to our attention, and we had been promising her for a long time we were going to look into it. And once we did, wow, we wanted to talk about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that closely follow this case and talk about it every day.
Did you talk about the secret society stuff yet?
No.
What secret society stuff?
Well, that all the symbols and stuff. Some people believe he was involved in. I don't want to say the word.
Oh, because of these symbols. Well, I kind of was taking that to mean like
rock and
star.
roll.
Yeah.
It's a very specific symbol, though, if you look at it closely.
It is.
Okay, well, I don't know which one that is.
Well, I can't say.
You want to text it to me, and then I'll.
Well, it's the ones you hear about that are not supposed to be real, like in
Illuminati.
That's the word I was trying not to say. Yeah.
Why?
Because I think it's one of those words.
I don't
that
think
you're not
so.
supposed to say.
I don't think so. I don't think it is.
Well, now they're going to be watching us. Thanks.
So there's. Well, I mean, he's definitely making the symbol in a lot of pictures. I just took it to mean rock and roll, but yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, if people are having
or
the
making
theories
people
that
laugh at us.
he was a. I mean, there's a lot of theories. So like the one somebody mentioned earlier, could he have been a CIA guy and he's been deep undercover in a foreign nation all these years? That you couldn't. Maybe. I mean, those things do happen, I suppose. I mean, could he have been involved in some kind of cult issue? I mean, cults exist too.
I actually think Nina's got a valid point. Maybe he was living a lie and decided he didn't want to live this lie anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that's a good point too. I think there's a lot of possibilities.
You don't know him. You just know what people say about him. It's hard to.
Can't judge a book by its cover, right?
Yeah,
even though it's a lovely cover.
You gotta stay pretty. You gotta stay pretty open-minded on this. So I'm going to go to the spring and summer part of him going missing now. So they do 100 interviews. They go through all this bar surveillance, and the way Detective Hurst said is that he, they had this the projector like down in the basement of one of the detectives' house, and they had it up on the wall so that they could go through every single person that came and went until they identified all of them. And it was painstaking. If you ever hear somebody talk about orange sweater guy, I guess he was because he stands around, looks suspicious because he's not doing anything, but he was a taxi cab driver and was in between fares. And so that ended up being a story. They checked dumpsters. They checked the river. So the family, of course, does everything they can. They're doing flyers all over town, bring as much awareness as they can. And then 6 months after he disappears, so in September, I guess it's 6 months, right? September? Yeah.
Time out. Before you do that, Astrology for Mystics with Jen says, so he was at a bar and left alone after drinking with friends? No, that's the thing, is he went in the bar and never came out.
Yeah. So I'll...
no signs that he ever came out.
Right.
Yeah, I'll go back and...
And FYI, that is not the correct hands gesture. I just checked all of them. That is not it. The thumb would be tucked in if it were.
Oh, okay.
And there's a few, but that that is not one.
So this is the last time anybody sees him. He's the bottom right corner here, talking to two girls. He leaves this way to go to the Ugly Tuna Saloona, which is off camera here, down that hall. So he's walking toward that bar, or he's walking down this dead end because the door over here is an office space under construction, and then a service exit. But the detectives and everybody, when they're talking about this case early on, they're acting like that's not even an option. So I don't know if it goes down into the center of the building or where that service exit goes. Maybe he still would have had to have come out a door that was covered. I'm not sure without being in the building, but it's always presented as two ways. He either went through that construction, back into the bar and never came out, or somehow evaded the cameras and got out the front. It's like, how did he do this? So a lot of people think he went through that construction. Although the detective, at least the interview I heard, he didn't really seem to believe that.
But anyway, go back to the 6 months.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, this is the last we see him going back to the bar, and it's like 5 minutes before closing time. Closing time hits, and his two friends can't find him out front, and then they eventually leave when they search the bathrooms in the bar. So September is, yeah, I guess it's not quite 6 months. So September 2006, his fiance or girlfriend, Alexis, she had been calling every day, his phone. It always went to voicemail.
She
And
called him every single day.
every single day from the day he went missing. And in September, she calls and it rings. And, of course, this is amazing. When detectives investigate it, they pick up that it pinged off a tower 14 miles away in a place called Hilliard. But as the detective explained it, so of course everybody's thinking, oh my gosh, somebody's turned his phone on. Maybe it's the killer. Maybe it's Brian, because they just kept paying the bill on the phone so that it would stay active. But the phone company tells them, well, there's a couple of ways. Of course, obviously somebody could have turned on the phone. The pinging location stuff was not as accurate back in 2006 as it is now. So that geolocating and GPS and all that, you couldn't quite pinpoint. You just kind of get a sense of where someone could be. It's just trying to find the nearest tower. But what they said was if the lines were busy that day, if the tower was getting an influx of calls and you were calling a dead phone, it might just ring a few times as it was waiting to get through all the other calls that are trying to come through. That's how the detective described it. I don't know.
That's unusual, though. If she tried every day and that one day it did that. I mean, after all that time, that doesn't really make sense, because you would have thought other random times it would have done that as well.
Oh, I didn't mention this. There were a couple of other pings.
That's what I was going to say. Is
the weekend he went missing, there were a couple other pings around, and they went and checked those areas and couldn't find anything. So they did pretty big searches, they said, all in that Columbus area. So maybe somebody had his phone. Maybe, again, it was, they say that the phone companies tell them these things could be glitches. It's hard to know. It's hard to know.
I mean, the cell phone technology has improved tremendously since 2005. I mean, you got to think that's 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, 2006. So,
did you already talk about the break-in?
No, and a month after, I forgot about the break-in. So a month after he disappears, someone breaks into his home, and largely things are not bothered. The detective wasn't clear on what was taken. The interviewer, she asked him, was it a TV, a DVD, or some DVDs, something like that? And he just says yes. So I don't know if they took DVDs, a DVD player, or a television, but a small robbery for breaking into someone's home. And so he was like, he goes, it was a weird case. We never identified who broke into the apartment. But he kind of wondered, was it someone that was just sort of obsessed with the disappearance and just did it to look around and check it out? Or
was it Brian?
Could it be Brian?
That's so odd.
It is strange. So maybe that's something, maybe it's nothing. But you break into somebody's apartment, it seems like you would take more than just a DVD player. You would clean it out if you're going to go through all that, right? Maybe not, though.
I wonder how long they left it alone.
But yeah, you wonder how long the family left it intact.
Right.
I don't know. I know another thing the family did that I guess looking back was almost a mistake. And I wouldn't have thought of it this way. But I guess they canceled his credit cards right away. And, though it would have been smarter looking back to let those credit cards stay active, because then if someone killed him or he tried to use his own card,
you could track him down.
You could track him. So it made me think, what?
You can still track them if you report that they were stolen, or you would think that they would have said, our son's disappeared and we want to make sure there's no charges, but could you alert us if someone tries to use it? I would think that they can still alert you.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be different now too, I guess. 2006 might have been different with that too. But regardless, he canceled the card. So tracking purchases he might have tried to make.
That probably wasn't smart.
Or if it was a robbery kind of thing and they took his wallet, canceling his card, they wouldn't have had a chance to try it. It could have helped lead to possibly
clues.
Yeah, a clue. But anyway, Randy becomes an advocate, of course, for his missing son. Alexis does too. Everybody does, pretty much, except for I think Clint, who goes kind of quiet. The whole community becomes obsessed with this case. And then a freak accident in September 2008. So this is a little over 2 years after he goes missing. Randy's out in his yard, and a storm comes through, and a large tree branch falls on and kills him.
It's terrible.
And so he passes, and now really the only person left to advocate or look for Brian is his brother Derek. And then so there's an online obituary that was done for Randy, right? And one of the signatures said, "I miss you, Dad. Love, Brian, U.S. Virgin Islands." And so, of course, now people are thinking, another clue. Could Brian have been, could this be true that he
Was that
ran
where
away,
they were supposed to be
started a new
going
life?
on vacation?
No.
I don't think so. I think it was in the States, wasn't it?
Mm,
I don't remember.
let me see if I can
But his
find-
mother had paid for the vacation, so it was also going to be like her last gift to him. It was kind of like that was part of this.
You're making me seasick with your chair.
Sorry. Well, anyway, they investigate it. They say that they believe it's a hoax. They trace it to either an internet cafe or a coffee shop in Columbus, but who the hoaxer is
That's
never
terrible.
identified or said. No arrest is made.
What a horrible thing to do.
So
It is a horrible thing to do. But I mean, I guess they think it's not going to hurt the dad because he's no longer there. It's just a cruel joke, is what it is. It's horrible.
Well, they're still family and people that
Right.
loved him.
He was going to his spring break trip plan was to go to Miami
Oh, okay.
with his girlfriend.
I feel like Crochet's the only one here.
I wonder if he'd already purchased a ring.
No, they said that he didn't.
no evidence of
No
it. if he
evidence
did.
of that.
So that
it-
could have all been part of a story that he was telling people that he planned. If he was planning, and you got a smart guy, and he was planning to do what he did,
But why-
making it appear that he had future plans, so it would be less likely for people to suspect that he left.
I guess
Right.
for me, though, if you didn't want to do the things that you were doing, then why not just say, okay, I don't want to get married. I don't want to be a doctor. I want to do something else.
Because the social pressure, familial pressure, knowing he's letting his
But
mom down, even though she was gone, but maybe he just couldn't handle the pressure. So the easiest thing for him to do was to find a way out. So he said, I mean, if you're going to ask someone to marry you and you're leaving in 4 days, you're going to have a ring.
well, it's funny you say that.
Because that's not how I did it, is it?
Well, yeah. How many days before you proposed to me did you
I
buy
actually
buy the ring?
It was probably about 4 days. It was the week of, at least.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But he'd known he was going to do it for months and
Yeah.
had not purchased the ring.
that is not surprising.
Do you not? Have you tell? Can you quickly tell her the story? It's great.
Okay, so I was working in Richmond, Virginia.
No,
and-
you're working in Nags Head.
no. I
No,
was
first
working
you're
in-
working. Okay, never mind.
I was working in Richmond, Virginia, and I was going to Nags Head next, so I was going to be out there for a week. And
I was coming
I
to
had
visit
been yeah,
for my birthday.
we were going to meet there and then take a vacation together down the coast. And she was coming on her birthday. So I had been looking for months and had, the price was not right. And the type of diamond I wanted was not right. So I never could quite find what I wanted. Right. And then I go into a jewelry store in Richmond, and I tell the jeweler, first I go in and he'd been robbed. He had like 3 big giant cases making up his store, and 2 of them were empty.
Oh my
'cause
gosh.
he'd had a robbery. So he only had 1 case with jewelry still in it. So we were talking about that. And I told him what I was looking for. And I told him the price that I had. I said, I have a firm cap. It's got to be this amount for the ring. And he's like, okay, well, this ring is, I don't know how much the price was, but it was a couple thousand or whatever over what, over my budget. And I really
And
did
the
have
reason he had a cap is because he had a brand new credit card,
I was
and
gonna max the
and he
card.
was going to max it.
So I was going to max the card. And so,
And
said,
so
well,
that was the firm, like it has to all
no,
total.
it really is going to, that's going to be the total. And we get, but he says, normally I would just say no, but I really need cash flow right now. So I will do it. And I was like, well, that can't include sales tax. So, it's really got to be 5,000. So he had to lower the price to do that. And then after we negotiated a little too, right? And then we get to the point where we're about to make the purchase. I said, oh, I forgot. She hates gold. Can I do it on a platinum band? And which would have been like a $500 or $700 like additional, whatever it was. And again, it was like, no, well, he told me it would be extra. I said, well, then I'll just have to leave. I'm sorry. I was going to leave.
He literally had no more money than
he
was on that empty credit card.
He probably just thought I was like the craziest negotiator.
I would have just been honest. I would have just said, listen, man, I just got this for this sole purpose. This is my max. I can't go over not one penny.
I think he did, but he kept asking for all these extras after the fact.
And I wasn't trying to do it to him. I just forgot at the last second. Ooh, she hates gold.
I don't mind gold now, but back then I wanted platinum,
silver platinum kind of person back then. So we did that, and then so then her birthday is the day she gets to Nag's Head, and so we had been dating long enough to where
a few years.
Yeah, we talked about marriage and all that. So she knew at some point the proposal was coming along, and that I wanted, So to me, to propose on her birthday is no good because then she'd see it coming. So I had all the regular birthday presents for her birthday.
He did.
Planning to propose the next day, so it would be a surprise.
And that was supposed to be a travel day that we were going to go to the top of a lighthouse, and then we were going to travel down. Our whole goal was to go down the Outer Banks and hop islands on the ferries.
Right, which was a blast, a lot of fun.
All the way down to, we were going to hop and then get back on the mainland and head to Florida, I think, at that point.
So she was a big fan of lighthouses. And so we were going to have a chance to go up in a lighthouse.
My very first time.
But I knew it was the only lighthouse we could actually climb on that trip. The rest of them, they wouldn't let you up. And so we go to the top of the lighthouse. And
the next day.
Yes.
Day. And meanwhile, just so you know, since we were traveling, I didn't shower that morning because I knew I would shower before bed that night.
Right.
So I didn't shower. I didn't have any makeup on. Had my hair put up. Super excited to get to the top of a lighthouse, and then we figure out apparently I've got vertigo.
Well, and lighthouses, Auntie, have you ever been to the top of a lighthouse?
A small one, not one,
not like the one we went
they
on.
Blow.
No,
they
not
move.
that tall.
They move with wind.
Oh yeah, they do move. Yes.
And so we get up there, and she's like, "Okay, I can't stay." And I'm like, "Well,
I'm holding on to the back of it." I said, "No, I can't do this."
I was trying to work up the what am I going to say kind of stuff or whatever to propose. And so I had to do it quickly before she ran back down the stairs. So anyway, that's how I got the ring.
Yeah.
Pretty good story though. I wonder if that guy's still in business or if I crushed him, if that was the jeweler in Richmond. I wonder if he's still in business.
I don't know.
Surely.
But he had like only 4 diamonds or something in the whole store, right?
Yeah. He didn't have a lot. Have a lot, and that was, so anyway, but anyway, back to this, I suppose. So True Crime with Melissa says the obituary could have been a hoax. It could have been. I mean, people do crazy, awful things, and I'm sure by 2008, all of the theories about him dreaming of living on the islands with the Jimmy Buffett lifestyle, I'm sure that was all kind of out there. So, you could put, if you were going to hoax, that's the kind of thing you do. But anyway, it gave these people false hope, which of course was horrible. So I want to go to this. So then, years go by and there's nothing really. There's a little bit of stuff that comes out and there's theories that people speak and talk and all of that. And then 14 years later, this picture starts to circulate.
Okay, this
online.
is the one I wanted to see. I'm going to zoom in on this.
Can you do it here?
Well, I'm zooming in on it.
Okay.
I need to get you a trackpad because the mouse won't let you zoom.
Yeah. So this guy's down in Tijuana, this homeless person, and people start saying this is Brian Schaefer. And so these pictures start circulating around, and it really does look like him. I mean, it really does favor Brian. So then, they start doing flyers trying to locate him. This is help locate homeless American man in Tijuana. Please help us locate this missing American man in Tijuana, Mexico. There is a possibility this same man was seen in San Diego. Reward offered for information that leads to his whereabouts. Please contact us at missingpersonsinohio@gmail.com.
Wow. I wish you could make it bigger.
Yeah, but
let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can make it bigger for you.
You're going to try to find another one?
I'm going to try to go into your presentation.
So even the detectives were thinking, this is a possibility. It looked pretty close. So they got in touch with the FBI 4 weeks later. They believe it is not a match. There is currently still a $100,000 reward for any information that leads to solving the case. Of course, you could call 614-461-TIPS to collect that $100,000 if you know where Brian Schaefer is.
Okay.
So there's a few.
I am going to share my screen real quick. And
I might have just bumped you by accident.
You didn't. I'm
Okay.
good. Hold on a second. Let me make it. Okay, hold on. Okay. So now I'm going to make it big. Okay.
Oh, good.
So what do you guys think? Put a 1 in chat if you think that could be him. Put a 2 in chat if you do not.
Can you do it again? Can you put him up again?
Can you not see it?
I can see the hobo.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
I mean, is there a way to put them side by side?
Okay, give me a
hobo. You don't hear that one very often. The hobo.
I don't like to say homeless because some of them.
Give me a second.
Some of those people, they may not have a home, but they choose to be like that. So
okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'll
hobos. He's a hobo.
Okay, so I'm going to do a side by side. Just give me a second. You all talk to chat for a second. I'll work on it.
So let's see. Crochet says Brian's eyebrows look more arched to me.
That's what I was wanting to look at. The eyebrows usually are a really good indicator because guys don't typically trim their eyebrows a lot. So the shape and height and everything stays about the same. Women, you can't ever tell because they change them more, but guys just don't care.
I'm almost there. Hold on.
Are you trying to bring him back up?
I am trying to
Romy T said, this is so funny. Yeah, we're just kind of silly.
I am trying to make it where we can.
And Tijuana is pretty far away from there. As far as, you could be anywhere. I know that, but.
I'm trying to put these side by side. All right. I think I got it. Hold on.
I'd like to see them side by side. It would look like to me that they would have the digital technology to.
I don't know.
I wish I could see the ears a little bit better.
Was he the kind of guy to trim his eyebrows? I mean, they're bushier now.
Well, as you get older too, your eyebrows get more bushy. At least men, anyway.
It looks like the pattern. I will tell you what would make me think it could be. If you look at the right side of his face in the clean cut picture, the way his facial hair grows, and it's kind of got like a little offshoot of where his mustache would be if it grew out.
Yeah.
You see that same little offshoot on the hobo, and the noses are similar, but the eyebrows are a lot bushier. Hair's about the same color.
The eyebrows, though, when you zoom in, the eyebrows on the hobo,
Hobo Joe.
I remember when we dress up as hobos once for Halloween when we were little? I think we did. I think the hobo's eyebrows are closer together than Brian's, unless he was like a big waxer back then.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
It's hard to, if the eyes were open, the eye shape would tell you something. The ears are similar, hair is similar, facial hair. I don't know. It's just really, really hard to tell. The forehead looks similar because of the hairline, but
The hairline's very similar too. Like if you look up here.
Yeah, the hairline is very similar.
Mhm.
I think that's the part that sells it the most, honestly. And maybe the nose. The nose, it's hard to tell.
The nose, on the right, his nose seems a little bit more pronounced, maybe a little larger, and it's hard to tell with the way that angle of that photo.
I know.
Right.
And if he's living on the street and he's having some kind of mental issues, he's probably not eating, so he's probably lost weight. So he is going to be a little bit more gaunt. He's not going to have as much definition, but from his statistics, he was a pretty thin guy anyway, 6'2", and he was pretty thin.
I guess he has hazel eyes, they say, and he also has got a little like a black speck or something in one of the eyes. So if you ever run across someone favoring him 20 years older, that's what you're looking for. I mean, they said it wasn't him. I don't know. The facial recognition stuff. I don't know how. Can they ever make mistakes?
Sure.
I don't know.
But they should have the technology to tell how close of a match it is. Like they should be able to say it's a 50-50, it's 60, it's 80, it's 90, it's 10. And you can tell, usually they can give you a pretty good likelihood.
Hey, Mrs. E, will you pull that down? I want to do the next thing if that's okay.
I refuse. I'm kidding.
I like the side by side though. It gives you a little bit.
It does. It works really well.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be crafty like me. I was getting text messages from people telling me they love the engagement ring story.
Oh, yeah. Not everybody knows that story.
No.
Yeah, it's a good story though. It's a good story.
I think it's funny that I didn't have any makeup on. I hadn't showered that morning.
Yeah.
I just felt, like I really didn't expect it, and that's what he wanted. So, actually, I'll show him the lighthouse.
You want me to wait? Actually, I got something else I want to show anyway.
I will show them the lighthouse.
So there's your hobo right there.
Oh, that's a cute little hobo.
What?
Hobo. Hobo's got a very distinct image to me.
I just hate the word. I hate the word homeless. I don't know. It's just, I've always called them hobos.
Oh, I love you guys.
Very traditional.
Okay.
Cindy said if he was going for a Jimmy Buffett lifestyle, he missed it by a country mile. You're right. You would not want to be in Tijuana.
No.
I've been there once. We'll never go back.
I've never been to Tijuana, but I was close. Okay. So can you pull yours down for a second?
This is Mr. E, you old smoothie.
There's where I got proposed to.
Yeah.
It is pretty.
It's terrifying. It was 230 steps to the top. I was exhausted by the time we got up there, but I was very excited because I always wanted, my entire life, I'd wanted to go into the top of a lighthouse, and he knew that. And we get up there, and I am holding on to the side or holding on to the back of that wall, and I'm terrified that I am going to fall off. I had this sensation like he was going to slide under the bars. When he went down on one knee, I was like, whoa, whoa. I thought he was going under the bar.
Were you on the exterior or interior?
Exterior.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I'm ready to go. And he's like, well, wait just a second.
Because I thought I was going to have time to kind of get myself composed, And she was ready to go.
I was like, nope, I'm done.
Hold on. She's like, I got to get out of here. And her fear of heights has only gotten worse.
Oh, it's only gotten worse. But anyway.
So,
well, there it is. And we get to share it with all you guys.
All right, so if you're kind of wondering what happened with
I was trying to help you. Sorry.
Okay, what happened with Alexis? This is her story 10 years later. So we're going to play a little bit of this.
Oh, okay.
It seemed like it was a pretty good, normal relationship. I mean, I spent time with his family, he spent time with my family, and I mean, a lot of it was all very medical school, centered. That night, I talked to him I talked to Brian on the phone, and he was getting ready to go out with his friends. So they see him get there, they see him go up the escalator to get to the bar, but nobody ever sees him leave. We made missing posters and we started hanging them all over the place. And then, from there we just started searching everywhere. We looked, up and down the Olentangy River. We looked in every dumpster that there was on campus. I just remember I was very brokenhearted and just very scared. And didn't really know what to think. But I think the main question always came down to, is he dead or did he run away? Those are the two main, did something happen and he just either ended up somewhere nobody could find him or somebody got rid of him. And that always made them think it was somebody that, that could have known him or, it wasn't just a random thing, or did he just take off? I think I think it was close to a year before I stopped calling the phone. I think about a year after that was when I finally said, okay, I got to stop. And so I, would occasionally, but really stopped, calling the phone. You can't put away the other parts of your life when something bad happens. As easy as it would have been, because it would have been very easy to crawl into bed, and the days that when there was no other, things to pass out, when there were no other people to talk to, I think initially it would have been really easy to have done that. I feel like I'm so distant from it anymore that I don't have, I used to have this feeling like when it first happened, like how could somebody leave and how could he do that to me? And obviously that's impossible, and so something horrible must have happened. But now with a lot of distance and a lot of time, and now I think I probably have less of. It feels like it happened to somebody else now. I mean, since that point, I got married in 2009, and I've had two little boys since then who are wonderful, and I live in Toledo now, and I have a wonderful practice that I work with, and just busy as an OBGYN here in Toledo, and so just a very busy, full, happy life now. I guess that was one thing that I had, that even though I was part of all of that, then I've had the chance to step away and not have that as a focus forever.
I'll tell you, her husband favors him. I don't know if you noticed that. I thought so.
I mean, not nearly as handsome.
No, but there's similarities just in the facial structure and stuff. Like, I'm not saying that that's him. I'm just saying that she has a type.
Yes, Brandy, I know you came in a little bit late, but yeah, he was a med student, 27 years old, and he was in his second year entering spring break when he disappeared.
And Uber Fubar says something kind of interesting. I've actually met someone who just left his wife and kids and lived homeless.
Oh, wow.
And he says it's more common than you think. Wow.
He could have just had a break. He could have just had a breakdown. I think it was probably some kind of foul play, and then the body's just never been found. I mean, if I had to guess, I just think there's a lot of those circumstances. And it's really weird when you talk about the smiley face serial person, that so many of those cases were very much like this, where a man leaves a young man, handsome young man leaves a bar, and they're unalived, and you find, it also reminds me of Caleb Harris. It's kind of strangely odd like that as well, outside late at night, for some reason. And, he ends up unalived.
Pink Warrior says, I'm so happy for her and that we get to see what became of her. And I'm happy that she ultimately had a happy life, is what it seems like. Because what a terrible thing to have happen.
It's like she had to just close that door a little bit, and just 'Cause
But
you
at
get
least
trapped
they
in the
were young enough, and they didn't have a family or anything like that. She was able to make a new relationship and move on with their
Right.
life, and that's really good.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you, Crochet. I'm stuck on never seeing him leave.
It just that it just sounds like foul play to me somehow, and it just wasn't caught because there was a nice period of time, a few days before he was reported missing, plenty of time to get a body, move it, dispose of it to where it might not be found, and then they're several days ahead of what happened. And that's the situation. If you go from the bar to when she's supposed to meet him at the airport, and that's when someone realizes he was missing. I mean, that's
Right.
kind of weird.
Oh, I always do it too slow. Crochet says, I'm stuck on never seen leaving. I don't think he left alive.
I just said that.
Oh, you played that? You read that too?
I did.
Sorry.
And
Yes. He was on
newsflash.
camera outside the bar at 1:55.
Uh-oh. What?
Jury has recommended life for Brooks Houck in the Crystal Rogers case.
Great.
Okay, good. I guess I want to play this. So I'm gonna pull up this interview. This is
With the detective you were telling me about?
yeah. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I just want to play his answer to this. So this is Detective Hurst, and he's a PI now.
Did you address astrology? You said I did read that he was on camera outside the bar at 1:55.
Well, not outside of the complex, outside of the Tuna
doors.
Saluna. Yeah, it was standing at the top of the escalator.
Right.
And then he walks back in the direction of the bar. He apparently told one of the two girls that he wanted to say something to the band. And then that was it. And then he was gone. And 5 minutes later, the bar is closed. His friends are waiting outside. He never comes out. They hang out like 5 or 10 minutes, go check the bathrooms, check the bar. He's not there.
Mhm.
And they're thinking, well, maybe he is just kind of off doing his own thing or decided to walk home.
Mhm.
Not sure. And then they left for like a 30-minute drive back to another house.
And JDR says he left. Just because we didn't see him does not mean he didn't leave. There are always more than one way to leave a building. Well, we kind of discussed the possibilities, right?
There's some kind of blind spots with the cameras. And but that's what kind of got this story so widespread.
Right.
It was the nature of it with all the cameras that were outside in this really busy area and all the cameras right there at the main entrance. And, why would he not just go out the front door? What would be his reason for going out through a weird construction site? What would be the reasons? Your reasons would be you wanted to leave with no one seeing you, or someone took you out. But if you were just wanting to walk away from life, why do you do it there at that moment?
Right. I think there would be a different plan in place.
If he were just running off to start a life, why wouldn't he just come downstairs with
Why
his
didn't he
friends?
get a good night's sleep?
Why wouldn't he just go out the front door and say, hey, good night, guys, I'm going to walk home?
Right.
And then knowing that he's done and that this was his last hurrah with his buddies, then go do whatever. Why did he have to disappear out a side door at the Ugly Tuna Saluna?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He could have gone back to his apartment, had a good night's sleep, and left in the morning, and no one would have really known the difference.
It wouldn't have.
Right.
No. And he didn't.
Right.
So maybe he could have had a ride ready or a plan or a ticket. He may have been meeting his new identity person,
Mm-hmm.
but that wouldn't explain why he wouldn't just go out the front door. Why the magic trick? Why wouldn't he just go down the escalator? You're leaving life anyway. What difference does it make if they see you going out the front door if you're running away from life?
Right.
The logic part of that to me doesn't make sense. It seems more like a foul play situation for that reason.
Dreaming of Blue Sky says, did you talk about the post on MySpace? I haven't heard that in a long time. While I had to talk.
I came across that one.
A work call. Maybe take a work call. I don't know that
She
one.
did. She said she had an urgent call earlier.
Oh, I see. And JDR,
I'll see if I can find
he
it.
had previously left before without telling people he was leaving.
Yeah.
That was something he did.
Yeah. The Irish exit.
Okay. Here it says
Is that what we
great.
call it?
We call it the Irish,
The Irish
exit.
exit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The My Post connected to Brian Schaefer case is one of the lesser known but most
MySpace.
mysterious. That's what I said.
You said My Post.
The MySpace post, connected to the Brian Schaefer case is one of the lesser known but more mysterious parts of the story. Here's everything we know. After he vanished in April 2006, someone made a cryptic comment on his MySpace page. The post simply read, "Brian, I miss you. Love always, Alexis." This was not the strange part. The strange part came in 2008 after Brian's father, Randy Shaffer, had died unexpectedly in a storm. The infamous comment after Randy's death. An anonymous commenter posted a message on Randy Shaffer's online memorial page. That we talked about that, but it just doesn't. I guess they're saying that about the "Dad, I love you, love Brian" from the U.S. Virgin Islands.
But that wasn't on a MySpace page.
No, but that's
maybe
that's
Dreaming knows.
The Columbus police looked into the comment and tried to trace the IP address. The origin could not be confirmed. It may believe to be a cruel hoax, and it was never authenticated.
Sadie says there was a false wall on the construction site and in the blind spot. Interesting. Did you know that, sir?
Yes.
So what was his MySpace post?
I'm trying to look that up now.
I can't find a post other than what was left by someone that said they were Alexis to him. Then they refer to the obituary post, but it doesn't say what the actual
Dreaming
post.
says there was a comment he made, something about his señorita and preferring to play in a band over medicine.
Oh yeah. Okay, here. This is what they're talking about. This is under. So this is MySpace. If you,
golly,
I haven't looked at anything from MySpace, and I couldn't tell you.
Does it still exist?
This is some archived thing.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think is MySpace still around.
This was I got this through a Reddit link.
Okay, well, just
go
go on.
Anyway, so it says, "I am a second-year medical student at Ohio State University, only 2 years to go. I have an awesome and amazing girlfriend. She's super hot and lots of fun. I really love music, and this whole doctor thing is really just a job, only temporary until I get my band together and put out a record. I want to own an island someday, or at least a beach, so I can listen to Buffett all day and drink margaritas with my señorita. I play guitar. I also have lots of talents, and it would take too long to list them, and English is not one of them. If you have any medical questions, feel free to send them to me. Although right now I don't know much about medicine, but the only way to learn is from mistakes, right? So why not?"
MySpace still exists, guys. I found it.
Oh wow!
It says, "Who I'd like to meet: Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam, because he helped hair metal come to an end. I would also like to burn one down with Bob Marley. I want to be an alien when I am reincarnated, but not the wussy kind, the kind from the movie Alien Aliens." It's got all his music, and he was totally into the whole 90s grunge thing. So was there speculation that this was even real, or was this actually his account?
I don't know.
No, I hadn't seen.
Yeah,
that.
Sadie, we did talk about the one time his phone connected, where it rang.
It's interesting. So I wanted to go to this too.
I felt like that was a big blast from the past, because I remember MySpace. I didn't really understand how to use it, though.
I don't think anybody really did at the time, right? So this is a podcast and a YouTube channel called Brian Schaefer, Dead or Alive. So
you want me to put the link in there?
Yeah, that'd be great. So let's put the link in for them. I think they did 6 or 7 of these, and there's apparently 2 with the detective. I didn't realize that, so I'm going to listen to the one. But this is where he starts to get. I'm going to just go back a hair. So he, well, I'll let her set it up.
Or Brian being deceased?
Well, I can articulate both situations. I'll tell
Sorry. So she sets up the question like, so I know you're not the kind of guy that likes to give opinions. You basically want to talk about the facts and then you give your thoughts. Is how she sets him up.
Does this channel only have 5 videos?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, he doesn't, throughout, he doesn't really want to give opinions about what happened. He just gives his thoughts. So it was kind of, I didn't quite, anyway, this was surprising to me, his answer.
Hold on one second.
Yeah. Well, this better safe than sorry. So we haven't reached out to them about.
We did not
getting
reach out
permission
to
yet.
them.
So we'll. I'll just say basically what he said. He goes into, that he doesn't believe that it's a suicide. And what he says is basically with that, people that take their own life, they usually want to be found.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want your body to just go missing and never discovered. So that's not likely to him. And then with foul play, he says it's a possibility or whatever. But then when he gets into it being him being alive, he seems to really point toward that being of a good possibility, which I didn't really think he would take that angle. I thought he would say that he didn't think he was alive anymore. But he seems to believe that there's a good chance or possibility that he is.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, him being alive out there, I mean, I guess it's possible. Just the way he would have left is hard for me to understand, though, because I can't think of why you would go out the side door. Why wouldn't you your friends are leaving anyway. You could have just gone down and told them good night and then met your ride or hopped in your new car that nobody knew about and left and started your life. So I kind of think there's foul play myself.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you at on it? Just
I think there's foul play. I would like to think that maybe he, went to the islands and is living the Jimmy Buffett lifestyle. But I think what's likely is that something bad happened and someone, made sure he was never found. So.
Yeah. And I think it's a romantic notion to think he would do that, but I think more likely, but why him and why there?
It's been cause for controversy. I'm going to put up a poll in chat. So tell us, I want to know what everybody thinks.
Well, but there's on the flip side of that. If it's random, why didn't he just go out the front door? And you get jumped in the street. You can understand those things are going to happen to people once in a while walking home. It supposedly wasn't the greatest neighborhood in the world that he would have walked through. There were some sketchy characters that lived in that area, supposedly. It really is tough to come up with what happened. It'd be easier if you knew he walked out the front door, but with him never coming out, it's like, did he say something to somebody, offend someone, and some guy shoved him out that side door to teach him a lesson or something, or was he targeted specifically? Did he have an enemy nobody knew about? It's really hard to. But then you'd also have all these people around that didn't notice it. Didn't notice an altercation or him yell out. He would have had to have gone quietly.
Okay, what would the other options be? Foul play?
I don't know.
Leaving it all behind. What would another option
honestly
be?
None of them fit. But yeah, the options are foul play,
Mm-hmm.
you know, left on purpose, I guess. It's
Mm-hmm.
new life, an accident.
Anything else?
Yeah, I guess that's it. But I mean, the foul play is the one that kind of goes into different directions. Like, was he a specific target or was it something at random? Man, it's really perplexing. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, you know. So Crochet says flirted with the wrong girl, like that kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
These things that happen at
Mhm.
bars where you say the wrong thing, you talk to the wrong girl, and
What
then
was the actual date of his disappearance again? The date?
April 1st.
That's also a weird day, right?
April Fool's Day.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is.
I was just looking at the MySpace archive, and the Clint guy left a message on 331. I
Oh,
thought
he
that
did.
was weird. Yeah, it just says, ladies, don't believe a word this man says. He loves the, I guess, hashtags. I don't know. And then she updates through April 13th saying that he still hadn't been found on that page.
Oh, did you find it on like the Wayback Machine or whatever?
Yeah, on Wayback Machine. Yeah. Just reading it.
Yeah, maybe he was targeted for looking like he had some money. It looks like his family did have money.
Right.
Man, you know,
It's a weird case.
Okay.
I never heard of I'm sure they interviewed the band. Did the band ever say they actually talked to him?
I don't know.
I never came across that. I mean, I know like everybody has been interviewed. Like the two girls have all been interviewed. Anybody connected to this case in any way has made a statement at some point, it seems like.
Okay, we've only got 14 votes in chat, but so far met with foul play is winning.
The group was reportedly called Rock House.
Laura Lodge.
Yeah.
Did they ever talk to him? Or what did they ever say about it?
The lead detective confirmed that the band was interviewed. He said they exited via the surface hallway route used to load for equipment, which was a separate exit monitored on CCTV on closed circuit.
Okay. So they had that on camera and never saw him go down there either.
They also said in another podcast, detectives noted that while the band used the back exit, they claimed no interaction with Brian and had no memory of seeing him.
So if he actually was going to the band, he never made it.
Yeah, or they claimed they did not speak with him.
So Dreaming of Blue Sky says, I lean towards foul play. Sadly, I agree, Mrs. E. It would be great if he was living on an island, but that is the case. Such a strange story.
It is.
Well, Nina Drew says Diddy sentencing October 3rd.
And the fact there's an investigation tells me he didn't just walk away.
That's a very good point, Ashley.
Yeah.
I love all the smarties we have in here.
Right. And I read something somewhere where they won't discuss their leading theory. That they have some theories, but they won't talk about them. Even 20 years later, won't talk about it, you know? Man, that's really interesting. I guess it's just what probably fed into the whole idea of him walking away is just, his kind of daydreaming about that life, the Jimmy Buffett lifestyle and all that.
Well, it says that they have focused. They've never officially ruled out any scenario, but they focused primarily on two major theories. One is accidental, that he left on a non-surveillance exit, the back service, and met with an accident, possibly falling into a construction site, alley, or nearby river. And they are considering that just because they had a service exit in the rear of the establishment that did not have surveillance video. And there was construction site nearby. with hazardous freight elevator shafts.
Dreaming says, wasn't there an FBI flyer too? Was there an FBI flyer? I don't know.
There's a lot of flyers, but I'm not
and
sure.
their other one, the same theories that we've said: accident, foul play, are the two that they're considering most, but they also have not ruled out that it was voluntary.
Yeah, so Ashley Lauren says, seriously, are my comments showing up? Did he get the money from his mom? Was it in the account they shut off? I don't know. Yeah, I didn't see your comment up there, but I don't catch all the comments sometimes because I'm, we're talking.
He's on a different screen a lot of times.
Sometimes I'm switching between screens, so I don't see all of them. I think I know what you're talking about. There's someone that's been doing a dig on his accounts and stuff like that. And there's some mysterious money that showed up in his account and people are wondering what that's all about.
It says there's no public evidence that he ever received it.
And then
no public evidence that he ever received what?
The inheritance from his mother.
Oh, the inheritance. I don't know.
And Cece says schizophrenia hits at his age and they can change very quickly. That's a good point too. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Dreaming has sent the link for his FBI flyer. Thank you, Dreaming. Let's see if I can get it.
And he was on Prozac too.
Let me see. If
at least at a point.
Yeah, this is his FBI flyer.
It says what did not happen. He did not withdraw cash before the disappearance. He did not access any accounts that might have held inheritance funds after he vanished. And there's no indication he used money to flee or start a new life.
I was reading here too that so serious side effects of Prozac. You could have mania, elevated mood, increased energy, racing thoughts, recklessness, and decreased need for sleep. Suicidal thoughts and behaviors, and especially in young adults and at the start of treatment or during dosage changes.
And I will tell you, back in the early 90s, they were handing Prozac out pretty easily. The healthcare professionals or
you could also have agitation and hallucinations, it says. So, maybe that could have played a factor.
I mean, based on the evidence, I think he just, it was an accident or foul play, especially when you have no money coming in or going out, not trying to use anything. I mean, you're not going to leave money just sitting in your account that you never touch. You're just not going to do it.
Right.
Sorry, I'm trying to find this.
So
flyer.
Accident though?
I mean, if there was construction places and elevator shafts, open construction areas nearby, easily could have, if he had been drinking, could have fallen into something. Right. I mean,
Sadie, that's right. I had many friends in college that were on Prozac, and when you mix that with alcohol, it was not a good thing.
Or I had or miss your dosage.
Or miss your dosage. Oh, yeah.
Really, it could be bad.
There's the
elevator
FBI
shaft.
flyer.
Shaft was not that big. He said it was like 4 feet deep at the time. So because that was one of the questions he's asked is could he have fallen down in that hole? And he was like, oh no, he's not in that construction area. It's not like that. It's not deep enough or where a body would hide.
Interesting case though.
Yeah.
Yeah. True Crime with Sweet Melissa says, I believe he was bold enough to tell everyone he wanted out. If he wanted to buy an island, he would have been a doc to save money to buy an island. Right? That's a good point. That would have been a fast path to that island.
Yeah. And then you just hurt all these people by disappearing,
Yeah, I don't know. Ashley, that's a great question. I'm looking at the FBI flyer and it says VCAP alert. And I don't know what that means either. I'll look at it.
Violent Criminal Apprehension Program. That's what it says up at the top right. I don't know why that's.
This is straight from the FBI website. FBI.gov.
Yeah. I mean,
Violent apprehension program. Huh.
yeah. Being on Prozac doesn't allow for logic. It's a tough drug. I've been, so it sounds like a lot of us have been around it. It's not mild. It has some effects.
And that was a fairly new drug during 2006 though. No, it'd been around about a decade at that point.
Yeah, it'd been around a while.
Maybe more like 15 years at that point. But it wasn't uncommon to know many people who were on Prozac. Hi, Christina South. She says, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, and I remember this case. Sad. Yes.
What it is basically it's a tracking system for cases that are similar that they feel like have it says it's an alert issued by the FBI's Violent Criminal Apprehension Program to law enforcement agencies requesting assistance in identifying victims, suspects, or connections in violent crime cases. And it basically maintains a nationwide database with all the information so that they can kind of cross-reference and see if they can find similarities and enhance coordination and communication among law enforcement all over.
So they've got more evidence than they're revealing.
Right.
Because here for the alert,
Possibly.
it said for when they do alerts, it says here, when a case meets a certain criteria, for example, suspected to be part of a series, random or sexually oriented, or involving a missing person with strong indications of foul play, it may be entered into the VICAP database,
Oh.
and an alert may be issued to relevant law enforcement agencies.
Well, there you go.
So,
So all of that indicates that they think. I mean, they don't have any indication that he's really somewhere that he met with some demise,
yeah,
foul play.
So unless they've explained why a reason outside of that, so we can go to Reddit and let all those people know that we have solved the case there by what happened to Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding, but that seems to indicate that they believe very strongly that something bad happened to him. Yeah, so that's awful. That's awful.
Uber
I mean,
says,
you kind of hope that it's not that way, but I wonder what they have. What do they have?
I don't know. I would say it's just that in the manner with which he disappeared may qualify it.
Yeah, Prozac is toxic.
I mean,
do they even prescribe Prozac anymore?
But isn't this the thing where you're allowed to walk away from life as an adult if you want to? And FBI
this is the same thing we were talking about with Devlin Tate.
Yeah, because he's technically an adult too. So I mean, if Brian wanted to just disappear, he can disappear, and the FBI doesn't put out an alert.
Right.
So they've got something
indicating more.
They've got some reason to believe that they're holding back from the public. Well, how long do you wait before you start to release information because the case is so cold? It's 20 years cold.
That's true.
Whatever they've got, don't you have reach a point where you need to say, okay, we're 20 years in. We have no hope of solving this. Let's put out the picture we've got of the guy following him into the bathroom or
whatever.
The car he got in or whatever it is.
Well, I mean, is it still considered an active investigation? Because could we FOIA? I mean, well, we don't live in Ohio, but could someone in Ohio FOIA this?
Nope. They've tried. Yeah. So, man, that's interesting. So they think something.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Sweet Melissa says Prozac made me extremely, that word, spelled wrong intentionally. I know many people that it was terrible for, and messed them up for life, because it of what it triggered chemically, that they could never get their chemical balance back. So.
Yeah.
Uber Fubar says general practitioners in UK throw antidepressants at you like confetti. Yes, I'm hoping that more holistic medicine people are starting to learn that those medical prescriptions are not what they need to be for people. I don't think that they're good for people.
Well, I mean, we know that certain supplements and things actually are very helpful with depression, especially vitamin D3.
And getting out in the sun every day just naturally is great too.
I have to tell you, I haven't told you this. Well, I did sort of tell you on the phone the other day, but we ordered the methylene blue.
Oh yes, I was going to check that.
This is day 2 of taking it, and I'm telling you, I don't know how he's doing it too.
Yeah.
I can tell a difference. I can tell a difference in my alertness. I can tell a difference in my thought process. I can tell a difference in brain fog and energy. I didn't take a nap all day yesterday, which usually I'll have to have like a.
Is it a tablet or is it a drop?
What I sent you were
capsules,
and they were on sale because of the special. They were $20 or something.
How much? How many do you take? Just one?
You take 2 a day. You take one in the morning and one in the afternoon.
I just don't want to add to my list of supplements. I take so many supplements.
I'm telling you, you're good. I'm telling you that I could tell a difference after the first dosage. Most people can't tell a difference for like a week or so, but you know how in tune I am with my body. I'm telling you, try it. I'll tell you other stuff offline, but I am very happy with the supplement, and we'll be buying more of it.
It's on sale today.
Yeah, it's on the Amazon's. We should be affiliates, so could we sell the methylene blue?
Did you put up the poll earlier?
I did put up a poll. Yes.
Do you want to see where we're at?
You know what, guys? I'll put the link up for what I bought, and I loved it. It's supposed to. Is a lot of the problems with our body is supposed to have to do with our mitochondria, and this methylene blue is supposed to heal it. And I'm telling you, I feel like $1 million, and it also helped my attitude. It's helped my attitude.
Yes.
Like you can tell. I know you can tell.
Yeah, it has. You got the placebo.
I'll take the placebo if it makes me feel. I mean, I'm serious. I'm not. I'm more cheery than normal.
I could tell a difference.
And I've had only 2 cups of coffee. And usually by this point in the day, I've had 4 or 5 cups of coffee.
Okay. I ordered it just now, so I'm good to go.
I'm going to find the
it comes link tomorrow. I've ordered a ton of stuff today on Amazon.
I actually think Mom would like it too. Just FYI.
I don't think she'll take it.
She may not, but I'm just telling you. I'm looking for that. Actually, that reminds me about something else I've got to do after this. Why can't I find it? I sent you the link.
Do you want me to send it back to you?
No, I've got it. I just went the hard way to find it. I went to Amazon.
Uber Fubar said Mrs. D's been on the meth.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, here it is. And we're not affiliates, but we probably should be. But there's the link. It's I don't know how to spell it. It's not hard to spell. But I'd never, I've heard of it. And we actually talked to a doctor about our son, and he mentioned it about trying it for our son. That he said, you need to heal your mitochondria.
Yeah.
So
that's pharmaceutical grade too. So that's good. High absorption.
Yep. This is what it's called. Yeah. And we talked to a doctor, probably before we went to the beach. And he and his wife were like, you need to heal your mitochondria. You need to heal his mitochondria. And you'll be happy you did. Or, they were very like serious about it.
Oh yeah. So let's see the poll before we go.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I do have to get.
I got excited.
I
know you do.
So let's show the results from the poll, and then if anybody has any last thoughts in the case,
I don't think I saw the poll. I don't think I saw the poll.
Ashley says it's already in my cart, or it's already in my cart.
Yeah, me too. I just bought it.
The methylene blue people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, we're having such a great day! What happened?"
Mr. E's methylene blue.
Yeah.
Now we probably should become affiliates, but that, I don't know. I don't know how to do all that. Okay,
it's a lot.
Okay, so I'm ending the poll here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last chance. Last chance. All right. The poll says, what do you think happened to Brian Schaefer? 75% said he met with foul play. 24% said he left it all behind.
Yeah.
And accident, 0%. So where's that other percentage we're missing? So like 1%.
It's really just.
I had 76% is what it showed me.
Oh, it says 75 on mine, but it's probably 76. I don't know why. That's weird.
Yeah. So I mean,
So,
that
I think we all kind of
that
agree.
seems like the most likely. It seems like that's what the FBI thinks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Crime Stoppers offering $100,000 reward.
Wow.
I don't. If the FBI's offered a reward, I haven't seen it. So that's interesting. Man,
Yeah, I think he
what a
would
sad
look better
story.
than that picture. That
And
picture's not good.
And you do the whole ripple effect thing on what happens to all these people. Seeing how it affects the Alexis
His poor brother. I mean, his whole entire family's gone.
yeah. Yeah, the dad gets hit by the tree 2 years in, never gets answers. And the brother is kind of left holding
How
the
did his
reins
mother die?
a very rare
breast
blood
cancer.
cancer. I think it was.
I thought somebody else said breast cancer.
I was
So
thinking
maybe it was blood cancer.
it was one I had never heard before. But maybe you're right.
I don't. That was just. It was in a comment that I read, and I just assumed that's what it was. I didn't follow up on it.
Something with an M, like Maya Leah, something like that.
Oh,
but I had never heard of it. Man.
Crochet wants to know what kind of work you do, Mr. E.
We are in tourism.
Mm-hmm.
So we work.
Okay. JDR says not breast cancer, was a very red blood cancer. So,
okay.
And so many tragedies. Yeah.
myelodysplastic syndrome or myelodysplasia, rare type of blood cancer, often referred to as bone marrow failure disorder.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
It affects the bone marrow's ability to produce healthy blood cells.
Well, we're familiar with that because our daughter had a bone marrow transplant when she was 8 from her middle E, who is now battling cancer as well.
So
Crochet thought you were in the medical field.
No, not me.
Actually, I can show you. This is something I can show you guys. We actually started a true crime tour for Nashville. So you can actually go on tours with Mr. E if you're in the Nashville area. And all of our members, I don't know if you guys know this, but all of our members get a free ticket to go on our crime tour if they're ever in town. So.
Yeah. I'm doing all of the tours for the next 2 weeks, I think.
Next few weeks.
Yeah. So the next couple of weeks, if you are interested, and I would be the guide. There we're in Printer's Alley. So that's the scene for the famous murder of Skull Shulman. And we go into it's a history all the way up to modern day. So Nashville's first political assassination and a serial killer.
There's a really good,
I mentioned.
There's a great
Diglione.
Yeah, there's a great the serial killer story is the best. That's Bruce Mendenhall, correct?
Yeah, that's really good.
That's
really
the best. I mean that's really, really wild.
And basically, we had a request a few months after we started the podcast for because we're entrepreneurs, so we've been doing tourism for
over 20
years of different kinds, and but we had never really done a true crime tour specifically. But there was a group in town that was like what was it, a convention
it was a writers
guild.
It was a writers guild group that wanted to do a true crime tour. They requested it.
Right. So it was a big enough group where it was worth kind of just creating the tour. and it was the most fun I've ever had leading a tour of any kind.
And they told you it was the best tour they'd ever been on in their lives.
I mean, it was truly it was a blast. And so we started this a few weeks ago.
We decided to go ahead and put it out to the public instead of doing it for private groups.
Yeah, and kind of fits with the Mr. E and all of that.
And he loves to talk about these stories. So okay, I'm trying to pull it back down and I can't for some reason.
Yeah, eventually we'll probably do some of these stories and different downtown Nashville true crime stories here also.
I think yes.
Yeah, we'll do some of that kind of thing, kind of here. But yeah, so that's what we do. So my schedule's always a little sporadic, night, day.
When duty calls.
Yeah, there's tour guides that work with us, of course, but I basically go in and do tours when nobody else can.
Mystery is also he's got a very we don't just do tourism. We've got other things we do.
Right.
There's a variety of things, but I always joke that we're like serial entrepreneurs. We like to try new things.
Like this.
This
was let's see what happens. And
that sounds like fun. Let's do a podcast.
This was very foreign to us, starting a YouTube channel, but we never, so it's been interesting and I learned a lot.
And Uber says, I'm getting a passport and coming over. Not kidding.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you do.
Well,
and anybody that is going to be in the area, please feel free to email me and you will get your free ticket. I'll send you a coupon for your free ticket.
Iberian Pig downtown asked for a server named Jody. I don't know that restaurant.
Where's it at?
I don't know that one. There's so many restaurants in downtown Nashville.
I don't understand what that means. Ashley says you caught on quick. What does that mean?
It's on Overton Street. Okay. So that's
True Crimes with Sweet Melissa. It was an Amazon. She put
I'm going to put it up again.
She'll put it up again, but she's getting it on Amazon.
So that's over by the Gulch.
That's the happening area for all the young people, the Gulch.
Yeah, we go through the Gulch. So yeah, I'm in that area sometimes. But sure, if we ever do the Iberian Pig, we'll ask for Jody.
She said doing podcasts is what Ashley meant.
Oh, yeah, we didn't expect this. We really didn't think we'd have more than 100 people. And then after, for our first several episodes, we only had one person. And his name was Adrian, and we miss him. Adrian became our friend, and then he just abandoned us.
Well, I do.
He does have to go because
all right,
work tonight. But thank you for being here, and if you're watching us on the replay, let us know in the comments what you think of this case. Do you think that this is foul play? If you have a theory, there's a lot of theories out there. Really, kind of any of them are on the table. But even if you think he just walked away from life, let us know why you think that. But thanks for being here. As always, it was fun to talk to everybody as always. And you have anything else, Mrs. E, before we go?
I'm still trying to get the outro set up.
And also, if you have any cases that you have found to be extremely unusual or have been unsolved that you'd like us to cover, you can also leave that for us in the comments, and we will start researching.
And please, like, share, and subscribe. We are trying really hard to get to that 10,000 mark on our subscribers so that we can start doing charity streams for some of the causes that are near and dear to our heart: pediatric brain cancer, pediatric cancer in general.
I think we're going to let the audience vote.
Yeah, we're going to let you guys vote. Autism, missing persons. We're going to let you guys help us decide where the money goes, but we have to get to that 10,000 mark, and we are at 8,800 right now. So we've got about 1,200 more to go. So if you wouldn't mind to share those out, and if you're listening and haven't subscribed, please help us out so that we can get to that point so we can start doing these charity streams.
Bliss Blessing says Jason Landry, and Ashley agrees.
I wrote that one down.
Okay.
Jason Landry. Okay, let's do it.
I'll look into it.
We are going to do that. We're trying to branch out a little bit and do some different stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy researching a new case that I don't know a lot about and trying to figure out how to present it and what the I mean, it's tough in a way. I mean, you get a case like this with Brian. It's
Mhm.
20 years of people researching and digging into all of this stuff. And so you kind of, you try to sort through what's relevant and what's not. And I'm sure there's a ton of stuff we missed. And there's probably pictures and video clips that people have had out there that we didn't know about. But still is interesting.
Astrology for Mystics with Jen says Jennifer Fay, Brockton, Maryland, and Dennis Flume
Denise
Flume out of Connorsville, Indiana.
Both missing people, I assume.
Yeah, I wrote those down too.
Okay.
Oh, there's more. She's got more. Okay.
And Martha Leanne Green.
Dixon.
All right. And good to see you, Astrology for Mystics with Jen.
And like I said, if you wouldn't mind to share this with a friend, subscribe and like, it does help us with the algorithm. And that's a free thing you can do to help us out, to help us grow. Like I said, once we get to 10,000, YouTube will turn that feature on where we can start doing charity streams. And that's kind of something we've been trying to do.
Oh, and Tennessee Nurse, go back and listen. It's a really great story.
Hey fam, I'm late. I don't know this case, but wanted to support my friends while I clean. I hate I missed it. Well, we hate you missed it too. We always love seeing you here. And we appreciate you guys so much. And also Nina Drew had said something earlier, and I did not want to interrupt you.
Mhm.
Nina had said, do you think Sebastian's case has gone cold? I don't think so. Not yet.
I was just thinking about that today, actually.
Were you?
Mm-hmm.
You and I might have different opinions. I don't think so.
Well, what I was thinking is when do we call it cold?
Right.
Where do you say? Because I was thinking about how, because like with all these cases, right? These missing people are
At what point?
unsolved. They're all the same in a way. Well, trust the process, trust law enforcement, trust this. Just wait. Things are happening. Trust. And 20 years go by.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure all these people in Ohio were told,
trust.
No, trust law enforcement. They got this.
Mm-hmm.
They know more than they're saying. 20 years and no answers. So at what point?
Well, we can't let that happen.
At what point do you,
as a community, we can't let that happen.
So I'm a fan of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I know it makes people uncomfortable,
mm-hmm.
but it's effective. They don't like it.
Right.
Law enforcement doesn't like it. Judges don't like, none of these people
likes it.
Getting their office, getting the phone calls and the complaints and the constant, but people do react to it. And if there weren't complaining and noise, then it would make a case much easier to go cold because they've got other stuff to work on. Because there's new crimes always coming along. But to me, I think you hit 3 years. You start to really put it in the cold category. There's strategies that could be going on now. And we'll look at Crystal Rogers. How old was that case? Is that 20 years also?
I think
10.
so. That was 10. Okay.
10 years, So, it doesn't mean that something can't be solved, but
I'm sorry.
I think there's got to be odds. I bet there's got to be odds of a case being solved at a point. And I would think somewhere around that 2 to 3 yard mark, you start to hit that threshold and the chances of it being solved start to drop dramatically.
Right. And
it's really wild because she went missing in July 2015 and they're coming to a conclusion and verdict in July 2025.
And,
so it can happen.
And this is how I feel. And if you disagree, that's fine. Speak up. But we're not going to stop covering Sebastian, but we're only going to talk about Sebastian when we feel like we have something really to say. It's not going to be a situation where we're going every day and continuing to go through the interviews and do the things that we've done over and over and over. There might be a point at which we want to refresh our memory and do some of that stuff. But right now, unless there's developments or we feel like we have something to say or some new thought about it, we're probably not going to be covering it. We're going to try to cover other people.
To get other people's stories out there as well.
Exactly. And we'll probably We debated last night on doing a Jack and Lily because there's been some changes in information with Jack and Lily that's come out.
There was a little information that I've come across on Sebastian that I had never seen before, but I don't know if we could do a whole live stream on it or not.
Right. But it's not that we love Sebastian any less, or that we care any less. We care so much for that child and his making sure that he comes home. And that has nothing to do with it. It's just we don't want to just go over the same stuff that we've always talked about.
Yeah, just belabor the same things over and over.
Right.
Because it just becomes a circus of attention, and we want him to have the attention when he needs to have it to bring up that current information and make it prevalent.
Oh, that's a great idea, Bliss. That's a great idea.
Yeah, just do a video on it. Yeah.
And we have a video in mind that we're going to do about it, which we talked about this morning. So we are going to do some videos and stuff. And
well, we've always, we thought a year ago, we were like, man, there's not really going to be a lot more to say about the Sebastian case. We kind of thought, well, I guess we're going to cover other things because there's not much out there. And that was like a year ago. And then, of course, all kinds of Texas Roadhouse video comes out, and Dog the Bounty Hunter gets involved, and Chris comes out and has all these wild interviews. And
so we would have said the same thing last August that, we didn't think.
That's what we were saying.
Yeah.
Because around the time the FBI did the reward, we were starting to, right before that, we were kind of thinking, man, this case is getting cold.
I remember. I don't know about our audience, but I remember when we heard about the FBI reward coming in, I cried.
Yeah.
I was just overjoyed. I cried. I yelled woohoo. I went crazy.
Yeah.
So
Mr. East got to go. I know.
Okay. Well, let him go. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much to our moderators that are here, Dreaming of Blue Skies, Kelsey, Astrology for Mystics, Bliss Blessing. I don't want to miss anybody. Nightbot. Just kidding. Let's see. Well, okay. Well, I guess that's it. Okay. And thank you to our members that are here. And we appreciate you guys so much. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. Thank you to Nina Drew for our super chat. And thank you to our subscribers and our listeners and you guys in chat. We appreciate you guys so much. And
are we still scheduled for Friday?
We are still scheduled for Friday. We're going to do an early morning Friday at 9 a.m. because we have something in the afternoon. I can't remember what it is right now. So we are going to do a true crime update for the week. So we'll go recap the stories of the week. Thank you guys so much. And again, thank you, Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches, for bringing this story to us. And we hope you guys have a great day.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, guys.